When I first delved into self-help, I was excited about growing and improving my life. I belonged to a network marketing company and getting the chance to invest in myself and the business. I was pushed by my peers to lean into that, as investing into myself will only make selling the business idea all the more easier and run more smoothly. I was the kind of guy that would soak up motivational content on social media and get amped up by it. I eventually created my own motivational content while holding on to those root ideologies like a mantra. I felt I was deserving of success and that I was working the business at every opportunity that I could. I saw connections purely as a way for me to sell the business and show off the fantastic life that I would one day lead. But despite all of the glamour and the optimism that I have, a lot of it wasn't very well founded. I was pulled into what was being sold to me and didn't think about what I actually had to do in order to achieve any of that. That being, at the time, leave that business behind and start following something more real. The real thing isn't so much as going and getting a real job, as certain advice would suggest, but rather to move away from all of the hype tactics, as they clearly weren't working for me, despite actively consuming it. After all that time that I spent investing in myself, I had nothing really to show for it. I wasn't even applying the things that I was talking about and encouraging others to follow.
I don't know. I never thought I'd get this far.
However, looking back at it now and knowing what I know, the outcome I experienced is pretty common around the usage of hype tactics overall. And these tactics are used time and time again throughout the self-help industry. I want to be taking some time to be talking about why gurus use these kinds of tactics to make you feel this way, and why these hype tactics often make us fail more often if we were to actually apply some of that stuff.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
And also to provide other options to motivate you that doesn't require a lot of motivational hype tactics. To start, the reason why so many gurus lean into motivational hype tactics is the same reason as to why gurus typically offer very simple advice to people. Many are just looking to make a quick buck without considering your own path or why you started to listen to them in the first place. Until they start seeing some big money from you, most won't even bother to actually try to help you and listen to your own struggles.
Why me? Why me? Why?
Hey, it doesn't always have to be about you.
Beyond that, hype tactics are also a lot easier to sell. Similar to simple advice, it's easier to excite people and make the bar look very easy to clear. This perception overall is similar to speed-running video games. If you've seen any of the Games Done Quick events, those speedrunners make clearing or classic and iconic games very easy, even though these runners specifically have spent years dedicating their lives to practicing every single day on these particular runs. Not to mention they spent hours in practice rooms leading up to that event. There is a lot of work that goes into it. And the good thing about Games Done Quick is the fact that they are willing to explain some of the strategies and what the run actually looks like and the history around it. Meanwhile, self-help gurus don't really show the back curtain. They don't really show any of that sort of process of how they got to that point. They just share the strategy and then scream at you or try to soothe your mind and motivate you in that particular way.
You just need to believe.
Whether gurus are doing all of that maliciously, I don't know. I can't really confirm or deny that. But regardless of their intentions, people are more likely to fail through this particular strategy than to succeed. And the reason I know this is by analyzing hype tactics and breaking them down into smaller pieces and figuring out exactly how bad they actually are. Because seriously, they are bad. That much is clear when we consider the framing of the problems that in our lives and the solutions that follow after that. It starts with this broad assumption that the problems that you're facing in your life are because of you and the decisions that you've made up to this point.
Huh?
It assumes that your problems are all self-contained, when in reality, that's not how problems work. That our own problems and how we got into these kinds of situations isn't entirely our fault. My point is, how we got there can be attributed to both factors that we control and forces outside of our control. And so, hype tactics that ignore the latter half and blame you for the former portion just is not very good. The other issue at play here is the conditioning that goes into blaming you for the problem as well. While on the surface, pinning the blame on you feels sensible, as it's then a guru's job to motivate you and provide you with solutions.
Use your aggressive feelings, boy. Let the hate flow through you.
But it can still create some disconnections for us on our own path of growth. One of the biggest disconnections occurs in the event that we fail.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Failure, of course, is a natural thing, and we are bound to fail at some point in time, whether it's through our own decision making or something that is entirely out of our control. But regardless of the circumstances, the conditioning that gurus offer, where they're just trying to help and offer some advice like a concerned friend would, it creates a situation where if the advice is unhelpful or even detrimental to us, we're the problem and it's not them who is to blame for that. And this isn't the case at all because, as I mentioned, so many gurus are doing such a bad job at offering really good advice or targeted advice and providing some real solutions here.
Hate your hair? Not likely. Yikes, 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 and let me guess, you have a great personality.
All of this culminates into the solution overall just being bad or unoriginal, to the point that people aren't willing to try it out, despite all the hype tactics and excitement that a guru is trying to deliver.
Are you not entertained?
The problem with hype tactics at its core is that while it looks flashy on the surface, it's actually dull or terrible the more that you actually look at it.
My eyes!
And you can see some of that in some of the solutions that self-help gurus provide. Hustle bros, for example, tend to provide just these very broad and wild ideas, like disappearing for 6 months, even though, as I've said before in a previous video on that topic, that those kinds of tactics often make your life worse than actually improving it. At the end of the day, there's nothing really unique or different that a self-help guru provides, especially a more popular and well-known one. While I get that the self-help industry itself is not a very innovative industry, gurus could at the very least lean into their own spins to certain topics, or they could come up with some more robust programs and support tools for individuals as opposed to just rolling out an AI therapy bot.
You'll eat it and like it!
And all of that culminates into people just not feeling that invested in that, or in some cases even frustrated over what the actual solution to these problems are. They're not particularly motivated after a seminar that was encouraging them to take action in their lives. Even if it's a legitimate problem that people want to be solving, the solution could itself just be another big detriment, and you're focusing more on just these hype tactics push people over the edge when it just disenfranchises people and disconnects people. So what can be done about this? Well, as I've been saying a lot about the self-help industry overall, it's important that we're mindful of our own situation and that we are approaching solutions to our own problems with some skepticism.
If you are seeing me now, it means that I don't like it.
If you're given an actual strategy, try it out for a week or two, see how you feel, and if it does feel good, then keep on going. If it doesn't, then either stop it or figure out what is actually wrong and make some adjustments to these strategies. But when it comes to just getting motivated overall, I would say that is the more tricky part of this problem. People get turned off by others yelling at them. And similarly, not everyone is moved by very pretty speeches. Our motivation and our drive to act are all very different. And that's really a good thing, because for one, we can take some time to figure out exactly what that is. What does actually drive us to achieve a goal? What do you think that you need in order to get yourself into a proper flow state and to facilitate you taking action on those desires and to achieve that goal? Figuring out the answer to those questions can be more helpful to you than reading another inspiring quote from someone or attending yet another seminar to try and bolster up your motivation and self-esteem. After all, those answers can then spark into actions, and you can use that to create your own hype for yourself. Hype that is authentically you and speaks to you on a more personal level than what any other guru could provide you. And when you do all of that, your path, whether you succeed or you fail, becomes more personable rather than relying on another guru for guidance. And from my own experiences, all of that makes a very big difference on your own motivation, getting things done, and actually succeeding. Thank you guys so much for watching the entirety of this video. I would really appreciate it if you left a like on this video and also to subscribe to this channel for more content in the future.